My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Nunas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
And oh boy, 2021's been a wild ride, huh, ladies? We've had some times this year. And I'm sure you listeners have had some times as well. So we wanted to take an episode just to, chat about 2021, what we got up to, stuff we liked, some news stories that we find intriguing, just basically shit that we got up to, the retrospective of our 2021s. So that's basically what we're gonna do today, because it's fun.
Yeah, make it a chill one. It's before Christmas, so we didn't want to make anything that was like a homeworky.
Yeah, we just wanted to have a good time. I would like to start in, before I forget, with my top news story of the year. And it's a recent news story. And I have done nothing but laugh hysterically about it since it happened.
Okay.
And that is the fact that Thailand managed to, not once, but twice, make shows based on GOT7 fan fictions that were turned into real novels that people then discovered had originally been GOT7 fan fictions and got really stupidly mad about it. Twice. I'm losing it. I think I think it's hilarious. I think Thailand should only make GOT7 fanfics.
I didn't know GOT7 fanfics were so popular that Thailand could pick it twice.
And at this point, it's a subgenre, right?
Yeah.
Listen, I get Bam Bam, very, very famous man in Thailand. So, but
I guess there you go.
Yeah, the show Nitty Man was originally a GOT7 fanfic, and apparently the show Not Me, which I've been watching and enjoying, is also GOT7 fanfic. And I just think this is the funniest shit.
Is it possible that there's going to be NCT fanfic, since 10 is probably pretty popular too?
Imagine. Because see, the basic,
apparently not as popular, so no.
Yeah, I know. Where's the 2 p.m. boy loves? Come on now.
So what's so funny is that these novels, they were originally fanfic, sort of like how 50 Shades of Grey was originally fan fiction, and then they just changed it to all original characters and then just published it as a regular book, which people do. That's totally fine. It's still your original work, especially with things like real people fix, because you're not stealing off an already existent storyline. You're just using a character as a template for your character, but people are so mad about it. And I'm just guys, I hate to be the one to break this to you, but most authors base the characters in their shows off of people, or amalgams of people.
It's so much
something
easier.
In their head. Yeah.
That's how you
you
I just
cast
think
it in your head.
It happened twice. The fact that it happened twice.
I mean, people being mad on GOT7's behalf, that Bam Bam and Jackson, they're all having watch parties over Scener, watching this thing and cracking up, right?
Because it's hilarious.
This is not something that they're mad about. So you don't have to be mad for them.
No, it's not like it's a
they're
actual thing that happened to them.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're gonna get mad, you would have known about it, because there would have been a lawsuit, because
exactly
that's the only type of mad they would be hey, you can't use that because I should be getting money off of it or whatever.
If anything that happens in these shows had actually happened in reality, they would probably keep it to themselves. You know what I mean?
They're not letting that out as idols. It doesn't even matter if they're not attached to a company. They're still idols.
Remember that time my identical twin brother was in a coma, so I joined his gang to find out what happened to him? Bam Bam, that was a crazy time, wasn't it?
It's just that a lot of people are also mad that a fanfic got liked to that level of popularity, because I mean they do it here all the time. People like are just weird about that. And it's like, it's still
and it's like I hate to tell these people about how much of stuff is fan fiction,
or how many like writers you have right now, authors, like major authors that everybody loves, they all
started in fan fiction.
Fanfic. Like,
I mean, the reality is like people get so mad, but you're like, you understand that Percy Jackson is mythology fan fiction.
Fan fiction.
Like, do you?
Yeah.
And people go, oh, it is not. And you're like,
do you
like,
realize?
Like,
isn't it
practically everything is a fan fiction of
writing.
something? Like,
yeah.
Come on.
I don't know if you like realize fanfic. It's actually writing. It's not anything else.
I mean,
so
it's
stupid.
People go off about romance not being, I'm gonna write a romance, but it's not gonna be like other romances because
isn't
it literature, and you're like,
isn't it though?
Stop it.
Isn't it?
I can bring up a news thing from this past year that it amazed me. It was this year when I was looking back. So Spotify licensing debacle.
Oh,
that was this year?
Yes, that was back in February of this year.
Oh my gosh.
man, people were so mad.
You know what I distinctly remember is us having a conversation when that happened, being like, yeah, I bet in like a week they announced they relicensed all the stuff, huh? And literally like 5 days later.
Yeah.
This is why you should listen to us, because we're like the voice of reason in all of this. We're like, yeah, it's fine. Don't go crazy.
No need to freak. It'll be fine, and it was.
Yeah.
And lo, it was fine.
Lo and behold, all was well.
The way it felt, it kind of made it like they just wanted the attention, essentially.
Yeah.
I
wonder if it did at all fuel some, not much, but like sales of stuff where people went, oh yeah, streaming services, that's not forever. Maybe I should actually have physical copies of some of these things, because I just found on my phone like a list, and I was like, what is this list? And I was looking at it and I'm like, oh, this is the list of stuff that got deleted off of Spotify that I was like, oh, I should try and buy these because they're actually important to me and I want to have them. And then I looked at them and went, oh, they're all on Spotify again. I guess
that was a big deal at the time.
That was, I mean, I remember everybody
people
just
were
like
losing
oh my god, what am I gonna do? I'm like,
it's all on YouTube, my guy.
But it also hasn't been that long since like we haven't had access to any of this. Like, it's like,
well, and I mean, some of the people freaking out are like older than us, and it's like, you remember the 8 tracks, right, kids? We you came up on cassette tape.
Things
like,
change.
Physical copies. You could just go
figure it out.
Get them.
Like,
yeah. I remember having to literally go through like hoops and bounds to like buy Japanese stuff on iTunes. Like, you literally I would have to like do this thing with like where I put my location on, and then I would have to like buy a Japanese iTunes gift card to use, and that's just like within the past like decade or so. And before that, like getting things, no. So
not in a legal way, that's for sure.
It's like easy now, so like I think we'll be fine.
Yeah,
it's not on Spotify.
Like, it's
also we lived through the drama fever thing to the point where we've experienced loss.
Yeah, we're
on
just
such
that
that was
literally the
still
shows are
hasn't come
only
back.
showing up now. Like, and that
that's
was
true.
years ago, and they're only being added to streaming services now. By the way, Fool's Love that I keep talking about is on Asian Crush. Got recently added. It's one of those drama fever ones. Just putting that out there.
Asian Crush, watch. I think they are the ones that are being aggressive about drama fever. I don't know if like maybe, who knows, they could have a tie to drama fever that we don't know about in their like parent companies and stuff, because they are a bigger corporation. But like they are definitely getting those drama fever stuff, and they are being aggressive about it in the ways that I'm not seeing any like of the other places. Like I know Vicky is kind of doing it, but I think Asian Crush like primed themselves. They're like, we're gonna start and be ready by the time these licenses run out, and we can immediately grab.
Smart business.
I know, it's a
like it is. We were fools.
Yeah, we were young.
There was literally no warning. But anyway, that wasn't this year. That was
but I was just saying we've been through that. So when the Spotify thing happened, it was kind of like it's not acting like the drama fever thing happened. Like it'll come back. It'll be fine.
Absolutely.
There was a baby boom this year.
That's what I was gonna say.
Girls.
Yeah, I mean, we are stuck at home, I guess.
They're not off on tours and stuff.
Yeah, because they
promotional tours.
Yeah, when
more time.
Think of that. When you don't like work someone to death, they have time to like make families. Who thought?
So like, listen, we got Chen from EXO's having a second child, and he's in the military, so
he's having a baby boom all onto his
all by himself. He was really the kickoff of this current. So to the point where every time another like K-pop idol's like, my secret girlfriend's pregnant, everyone's like,
it was like Jen did it first.
Bobby from Icon has had a baby. Taeyang had a baby.
Big Bang.
Our sweet friend of the show, Chang Teng, has just announced he's having a baby. We're all really excited for him.
So excited.
I'm so excited. Oh,
I was gonna say little baby, but it's not gonna be little.
Baby, like Park Shin, he's having a baby. Who saw that on your bingo card?
Right?
Huh?
I mean,
her and what's his face from a billion shows.
Yeah, he's
what is his name?
I don't know it off the top of my head, but yeah.
The
guy that she's been with for like 6 or 7 years or something.
And then Max from TVXQ, I think that was
he got married.
Yes,
if it's not this year, it was the very end of last year.
Yeah.
It works out.
Lots of
listen, they're just doing their thing, and we love to see it. We love to see it.
Yeah.
Normalize idols having lives.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like
have families.
Let them do what they do. Like I keep seeing the flip side of that too, though, with like Gong Yu. People keep going, oh, he's got a secret wife, or he's probably got babies all over and I'm like,
where maybe he doesn't says I do not.
Like he has literally in interviews said, I think I'm past that stage. I'm looking for marriage. That's a young man's game and I'm not in it. He keeps trying to like kind of say that's not for me, but people don't listen to him. And I'm like, man, just listen to him. If he's saying that's not for him, maybe it's not for him.
And that's fine.
You know, we want the ones that don't want to be married to be married. We want the ones who want to be married not to be. And it's like, what if we just let them all do their thing and be?
What a shocking idea,
right?
What if their art does not mean that I own their life?
And that they're humans. Those are humans.
They are. Like
the main thing I always feel is like, I hope that whatever significant other was okay being a secret significant other for how long, because I'm sure that was tough on people. Like,
yeah. Although it's sometimes like I feel like they weren't very secretive. It was just like
it's just
especially in the past couple years,
just because we're international.
And also, no one was allowed to leave the house, so it's like easy to have a secret live-in girlfriend when you can't leave the house.
Or like know, when you think about it, you're like, oh, it's actually kind of easy to like put on some things, and then you look like 100 other of the same people. Like that's like a good like a thing, and they're like
a lot of these guys
just like kind of blend in.
We never see them without makeup. They always have makeup, and we know how different people look with makeup.
Mm-hmm. Well, not even just that. It's just like the
walk around in the street without their makeup on and
a mask on and a hat.
Maybe looks but you wouldn't like.
I mean, like I've seen like videos, just live clips on Instagram that tech will do, and I mean, like literally within the past month. I'm not talking about years ago, and he's just like walking up to the JYP building, and nobody's stopping him at all, and like. If he can do that, even like being on live, like he's obviously like looks like you know he's doing something with his phone. If he can do that, being who he is, I think most people just won't stop people, like unless they're in like you know like maybe in front of like you know the building when there's like a filming happening, like that's when all the fans will be there, you know, that's the thing.
Especially in this the pandemic world where everyone wears masks every time you leave the house. It's not hard to hide your identity. Like
you don't have to do much of anything. Makes it easy.
Like see, we always laugh. Like, you know, there's always that like the thing in idol dramas, like dramas about idols, where it's like they'll put on the hat and like, ooh, but everyone still recognizes them. It's like, nah, bitch, if I put on a hat, you wouldn't know me from that person I had a hat and a mask. Like,
someone would just assume that you're like just some random person too. Like that's how like people work. You always hear of like stars who will come up to someone and be like, has anybody told you look exactly like this person? And they're
like Tony Hawk.
I hear that
all the time. And you're like, you were actually talking to that person, you know, like, and when they're not like in front of a camera, you don't like notice.
There was
it
a couple years ago a funny video of that actor Yang, and he's in an elevator like recording himself, and the girl behind him is like watching a video of him and like squealing about like how great Yang is, and he kind of turns around and looks at her and smiles at her, and she's like dude,
who the fuck are you?
Like mind your business, right? And he's just cracking up into the camera, like no idea. And I mean, it looked like him, like in the camera, you're looking at it, you're like, this is clearly Yang, but
but like
she's not expecting to see him in the elevator, so she doesn't, you know,
right?
Like,
it is what it is. So baby booms, you love to see it.
Yeah,
you love to see it. I love being a K-pop aunt. Big fan.
I know. Well, kind of not really stemming from that, but like bringing in Chansung in. 2PM came back, and that's sort of like the biggest thing about this year. This has been super exciting because everybody's back and also made some music, some good music too.
They did.
Yeah.
It was fun seeing them together and seeing them on things and like live things and not just like old like interviews or like, you know, variety shows or stuff like that. It's been fun.
It's great
being able to watch it.
And 2 a.m. did too.
Yeah. It is like it has been the like renaissance of second gen. Like just a lot of second gen has like come back and done stuff, and that's like very exciting. Like for me personally,
we're looking at you, 2NE1. We're looking to anyone.
Man, I sure was hoping that they would pounce on the whole like 2021 thing.
They could be like playing the long game and suddenly just fucking appear on like some like New Year's Eve special.
They're gonna do like Dick Clark's New Year's Eve or whatever, and it'll be like, what?
They're playing the long game. However, the long game now in pandemic world is like 8 times
slightly longer game,
because they were probably, I could have seen them like doing something but like wanting to do it after CL did her stuff, and CL's album got pushed back like 4 or 5 months, so like you had that and everything's like pushing back and like contracts are a thing, and you know, people doing other things, and Dara's always like off doing stuff, so I understand not being able to get everyone back, and the pandemic, like I think that's like probably the biggest thing that is kind of hindering it, because it just makes everything so much harder, because you never know when you have to like cancel everything again.
Well, I mean, we just went through all the hassle, all the drama of tickets being, you know, released, and now you can get your new tickets and your new date. The new concerts might be getting postponed too, kids.
I just today saw a TikTok about this poor girl who I don't know what city it was, but very varies on for right now here. And they waited in line for 3 hours and then were told that the concert was canceled because like someone on staff or something potentially was showing signs, symptoms, or whatever.
No.
But like she was talking about how they were all in line and it like looked like people were taking things out and like filling up vans and stuff. And they kept on asking people and no one would tell them anything. For like 3 hours, they're sitting there and the poor girl's like in tears crying. And I just felt so bad. And she's like in her hotel room. So like she had to like get her hotel, but I was just, and she was like, you know, it like, it's not about the thing. I want them to be safe. And like, I want all of the people to be safe. And like, if someone's sick on the thing, we were asking constantly. And then I guess it got to the point where the only person who really told them was the ticket box office of the like place that they were at, not even My Music Taste or anything. And then finally they got a little thing from Jellyfish, I think is their company, and that said about like things, and it kind of seemed that like Jellyfish just assumed that like My Music Taste would take over because you know, but like My Music Taste like did stuff after Jellyfish, and I was just like, oh my god, this is so sad. People are just like waiting in line, especially it's got to be cold too, or like rainy.
Gross.
Gross. Awful.
Gross.
And I mean, I'm not hoping that concerts get canceled on people, but I do hope people are safe. You know, I'd rather that your concert gets canceled than you're part of a super spreader event.
Because like, listen, I love K-pop, but I don't want to die for K-pop.
No, like, it is not that serious for me.
Well, kill someone else. Like,
the thing is, like, you might be fine, but you can cause some serious damage to someone that won't be fine. This is definitely a year of, it was kind of not like it wasn't entertaining, but since it was happening, K-pop and even K-drama side of stuff, things would keep getting pushed back, and sometimes we'd be told about it, and other times kind of after the fact it would be like, oh yeah, this thing, you know, an actor or a K-pop artist or somebody would be like, yeah, this thing got pushed back like 5 times before. So things have just been in huge flux. And I mean, things are always in flux to a point. They just but all the more so this year. So everyone's just had to roll with it, really.
But we had got like a good amount of stuff. I think comparatively to last year, like things kind of worked out. And then also just like all the news of like all the new stuff that's happening, like Netflix really kind of honing in on their like development of Korean shows and like focusing on that has brought in a lot, and they're, you know, starting to do stuff with Japanese content, and I think that's been a interesting thing to watch happen this year.
We're getting some real bangers coming out too. Like,
well, and I guess that Squid Game might have been a big deal this year.
I suppose we should mention Squid Game.
Might have been a thing.
That was a thing that really, you know, it put K-dramas on the global scene, I suppose.
I will say, if you're really having an urge to like be capitalistic and like buy stuff Squid Game themed, at least go like small artist side. Go look for the small artist things, because like I've seen some really awesome, like, you know, one of the pin designers that I follow, she made some really cute Squid Game pins and stuff. I mean, so if you really feel like you want to do that, go for the small guys.
Yeah. I was in the what is it? It is Showcase store or whatever, like the As Seen on TV whatever store today, picking up something for my nephew, and they had so much Squid Game stuff, and it was on so low price now because they had so much, like way too much of it, right? So there's some like Dalgona like card game or something, and like I don't know, like but like
that's a little, the concept of that is a little sadistic to me. I'm gonna be real, like that's a little fucked up.
Those pins, I think they were like when I first saw them, they were already on sale for like $10 a tin. And then like today we went and looked and they were like, buy 3, get 3 free. And I was like, I don't even know what's in the tin. Like what, is it like a bunch of pieces of paper that I got to try go down the perforation without ripping like, I don't know what the deal is. I'm not buying that.
I want to talk about Kingdom Legendary War because one that absorbed a very large portion of my time this year. And I became wholly obsessed with the whole show, which is bizarre because I hate those types of shows. So basically, if you're unfamiliar, Kingdom Legendary War was we're gonna call it a competition show, but it had no prizes and there was no like eliminations.
And there really wasn't objective scoring of any sort.
It was very, like, the scoring was very opaque. We had no idea how these numbers were generated by any stretch of the imagination. And it was by Mnet, who is, they're a little infamous with these types of shows.
You mean the devil?
And, yes, they're known as the snake of these sort of things, where they attempted to, and you could see it, like in the earlier episodes, you could see them attempting to do like evil editing to make these groups seem like they didn't like each other, but it failed so epically. Like you could tell that every single member of every group was in love with every other group. Basically, it wasn't like, usually these shows are like rookie groups, but with this one they weren't. It was all like already established.
Yeah, once you get people who know the game, they're like, we're like, not gonna play.
They were like, everyone on the show had been in the biz for a couple years at the very least. So basically it was AT, Stray Kids, the Boyz were like the younger ones. And then you had SF9, B2B for You. So that it was technically just called B2B, but it was just a subunit of B2B. Everyone else was in the military, and Icon. So it was like 6 groups where they all had to come in and first perform their own songs and then like remix their own song for the next one. And then they had to trade songs with another group. So like 2 groups would trade songs and they'd like do their own rendition. Then they had to like do like get into groups, like the 3 groups had to 3 and 3 had to get together and like do, different performances. And it was so good. But like, I still don't understand who won was chosen and how, because like sometimes they would put on just these absolutely incredible performances and then it would be like they'd come in like, well, they get like no points and you're like, I don't understand how
they just put points in a cup and then they shook it and then pulled it out.
It was like it was really like whose line is it anyway rules. It's like the points are made up and don't matter. But like there was like some sneaky shit going on. Like
maybe it was secretly the points were just how many times you could annoy TVXQ Max and make him uncomfortable.
Possibly. Like so, like for example, this was in the early days where they tried to like shenanigan, where it was revealed that Mnet had basically told all of the groups that for their like. So the first episode that they came in, they all did like a short performance of just like one of their songs. And then for the next 2 episodes, it was like 3 and 3, where they had to do like a bigger performance of like one of their songs, but like remixed and like in a new way to like show their, flavor or whatever. Okay. So Mnet had told them all that they had a budget, but then told only 3 of the groups, oh, that you don't anymore. But didn't tell the other 3 groups. So
see, at that point, it sounds like a psychological experiment to me.
So basically, AT's, Stray Kids, and the Boyz had these like lavish, over-the-top stages. Like fucking AT's fought a kraken on stage and had a
they did,
ship, and it was sick as hell. But then they did not. But then they didn't tell B2B, Icon, or SF9 that they had the same budget. So like, but let me tell you, Icon did this, they came in last, which I think was a fucking crime because they did a mashup of Love Scenario and Killing Me, but they did it as like a musical. So they had like this fun, like, this like, it starts out like with Love Scenario, like, oh, super fun. And then all of a sudden like lightning flashes and he like collapses on the ground and it's fucking this dark ass music. And it was you should go watch it. It's on YouTube. It is so good. And it was just like, oh, you know, they came, but they didn't have like a flashy stage because they didn't think they were allowed to. Anyway, I was like obsessed with this whole thing, and I do not like these shows. And I was in it to win it with this show.
But you couldn't win because it like.
Well, I was
really didn't work like that.
Listen, we all won while watching it because we got to watch some of the most incredible like live stage performances.
Honestly, the easy way to watch it is just to go watch the performances on YouTube.
You don't
need to skip the drama.
And then also watch the sports day episode, because they take a break in one episode where they just go and have like a field day. But like clearly some of the groups were not told that is what they were doing, because they like showed up in like jeans. Like SF9 showed up in jeans, and they're like, okay, time to do like a high jump. And they're all just like, what? No one told me we were having a sports day. So anyway, poor SF9 really got the short end of the stick, but like, they're hot. They came out fine at the end. You know what I mean? Like, they're hot and talented. What more do you need? Anyway, so Kingdom Legendary War, like, that was a good like 3 months of my life. Just
I do remember when the news about Bobby came out, about his girlfriend being pregnant and he was married, that people were showing a clip, an interview in that, and they were like, oh, this smirk on his face makes so much more sense now, because I've been having a really good, I've been, you know, and he says something and then he stops and then he goes, I've been having a real good year. Like, you're just like, he totally said, I've been banging my girlfriend every night. I'm super happy, right? Like, and then they were like, listen, you can't
Bobby
say
was
that. He was like,
Bobby was not
happy. Like,
he was not taking this seriously, as he shouldn't have. It was a fake competition. Yeah. He performed incredibly, but like in like the interviews and stuff, he was just like,
yeah, what are we doing here?
he existed to break the fourth wall constantly.
Pretty much. And it was a delight.
There was a lot of idol shows this year too, like idol dramas about idols. Like,
oh yeah,
like, you know, there was that Imitation that like Natalia and I were watching that and recapping it with the Road to Hagdom show on YouTube, and then like even just more recently, there's a couple of them out right now, and it just feels like there was a lot of shows about starring idols, but also a lot of shows about being an idol, and some were better than others, and some had better music than others. But
listen, sparkling is the greatest thing that existed, okay? Don't at me.
I love that like fans got that song charting, and
I was just about to say, you know, you have some fandom power already whenever your fandom makes that chart.
Yeah. Imitation or Kingdom Legendary War 2.0, starring half the people who are in Kingdom.
This year, with the Kingdom thing though, it's just kind of funny because, you know, you have the Kingdom K-drama, we actually got the Ashen of the North stuff this year.
That's true.
That was this year. Oh Jesus, so much happened this year.
So then you have the, you know, Kingdom Legendary War competition show thing, but then you have Kingdom, the group, the K-pop group,
K-pop group, who are fun. They're a fun.
Their costuming and their lore is very.
Yeah, they're very high concepts. Like that's like their main goal.
Like their styling team is going above and beyond. Okay, like.
And the way each album is themed after one of the rulers, it's just very,
and it's all pre-planned too. Like all of this is pre-planned. Yeah, come back in advance.
Yeah, to be honest, the music is pretty good. It's pretty tight music too, so that's nice. Like it's nice when there's good music backing it up too, when it's not just great concepts and then you're like,
you need a little bit of both.
It's really sad when it's like, oh, I really love this concept. I can't listen to this song very much.
Yeah, I love this concept. We'll just stream it on YouTube on mute, and that's fine because it's fun to watch. But it's nice when you don't have to do that.
I like being surprised by things like that, though. Like for example, so JYP just premiered a new emo band, essentially. Did not know that was what was happening. I was just like, oh, new JYP group.
It would have. I mean, it was on our radar because it was a new JYP
I
band.
knew that they were going to be a band. I didn't know that.
That's all we knew.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm here for that.
But
okay,
if they had even so much as hinted that it was going to be emo styling, we would have been there for it.
The only thing I got was Happy Death Day is the name of the song. And
Which
like,
could
I was
mean
like,
anything. It could mean anything.
okay.
You know?
But like how they kind of introduced all of the members, each member did this little like video, and they weren't emo. It was like them like in random like everyday situations, and they pick up a broom and like pretend like they're playing the broom on the guitar, right? And then put it down, and they see like a flyer for a band competition or something like that. And that's like how they introduced, and they were all not at all emo. They were like just pretty boy like JYP band.
No.
And then I started that music video and I was like, what the fuck?
Like literally, like I wasn't even gonna like pay that much attention.
I wish we would have done a reaction for it, because it would have been
really
so funny.
No, when that kid comes out, I was like, ugh. I was like, no. What is this? Because like I wasn't like even paying that much attention. Like I was like, oh, I'll check it out eventually. But then it just came up like, you know, like when you sign into YouTube and like, you know, the random videos. Things. And it was like the first one I was like, I'm just waking up, I'm lying in bed, I'll just check it out. I clicked it, then I was like, holy shit.
See, I ended up watching the teaser because I had watched all of the other stuff beforehand too, and so I was like, okay, I'll watch the teaser, and I was like, okay, wait, what? But like you couldn't really tell from the teaser because they didn't do it. I was like, they look what? That's not the styling I would have treated.
Like sometimes the teasers give you a real bait and switch. Like you never know.
Like the beloved ONEWE. They have some really good bait and switches that have happened, which is fine because their music is very, very, very good, and they're sweet beans and they're great. But there's sometimes their styling, like they'll have an emo styling, and then it's be an emo song.
But I just remember the first time I saw the teaser, I think it was because Jessie shared it on Twitter, and it was just like her tweet was just like, no.
I was like, no, I was like, really did not want to pick them up. I really didn't. I was like, and at this point, like I was like really solidifying my like love for ONEWE, right? And so I was like, I already have now an actual group that I've decided to pick up. I can't do this. And then I watched that music video and I was up for it too. I was like, it was one of my like insomnia nights, and like I was like, well, I'm here for it, and I played it and I was like, I guess I'm here.
Literally, when it started, I was like, oh, this is an interesting sound. But as soon as that kid's little like growl thing, I was like, shit, I'm in.
So now we have super high expectations for whatever they do next time.
I know. Thanks.
Gotta live up to that. Watch them totally change like styling and not be emo at all.
Also, like a week ago, the Boyz put out a new music video for their song. I was not expecting this one, by the way. So they put it out for their song Drink It. Very aggressive title, I'm gonna be honest. And I had never actually heard this song, and it was like a single that came out this year that I was unaware of, and they put out this whole vampire lore out of nowhere that it's like, wait, are all but one member of the Boyz vampires now? Like, what are we
love
doing?
when groups do that. They'll like do something like just like throw you off completely. They like all of a sudden they're like, we have a concept now, and you're like,
which especially if you followed the Boyz for quite some time, like they were definitely a cute boy group the first while, so that's what makes it like all the more funny to me, because they really were on like the sweet end of the spectrum.
And then so their video they put up before that, like Maverick, was like oh, okay, like, yeah, cool, we're doing like a sci-fi like cyberpunk thing. That's cool. And then it was like, no, we sexy vampires now. And I was like, what is happening? Like, what?
So I've gotten into Billlie, the Daebrew girl group. And I'm going to admit, though I have followed them pretty closely, like I haven't gone way into like their backstory or anything, but so I watched the React to the K that was recently released about their music video, which is super entertaining. Go watch it. React to the K is always a good time. Before they start the music video, she gives the background for her people that are going to be watching it. And so it's actually like super dark stuff. Like, Billlie is a girl that like went missing, and all of the members are trying to find her, and they're stuck in this world trying to find her, and they like can't. And so all of the lyrics of that song are like really dark about that situation.
It makes sense now, except for it kind of doesn't make sense in music video form. Like, but
right.
And they're like sound. Their sound doesn't match a dark concept.
Isn't that funny?
So
speaking of like suddenly turning to darker concepts, TXT took a wild conceptual turn.
TXT went into like TXT. Emo rock, and I love every bit. Good. I love it so much. So good. I'm just like so into it. And I think they're leaving it now, though. That's like I think their path is out of it. But like, man, those are a good couple of comebacks where I was like, oh my gosh, I love this.
Listen, like Love Song.
The one with the story. It's so good.
Are you kidding me with that song? Jesus, so good.
And then, it's like a whole movie in a song is what it feels like. You're experiencing all this emotion.
Listen, I don't know what the storyline of Frost is, but they're doing something.
Yeah, they're doing something with that.
There's something going on there. Like, I don't know what, but
I think the best part about Love Story is it's like the quintessential song to like put in like on in your car, crank it up, and then like roll down the windows and just drive with your friends, and you're all just like yelling at the top of your lungs to the song.
I know for me, Pentagon became a big deal this year. It feels like it's been years now, but I
it's only been one.
Pentagon becoming a thing for me this year. So
it's only been a single year. That was like me. That was me and Stray Kids this year too. Like,
you didn't even admit to it to yourself until your Spotify raps thing came out.
I was like, yeah, I like Stray Kids. Okay, like, yeah, I'm a casual Stray Kids listener. No,
but Spotify said like, no.
Stray Kids listener. Spotify was like, we got the receipts, and we saying you listen to too much.
What in my head I imagined, that part in Clueless where she like realizes that she's in love. Yeah, she's like, wait a minute, I'm in love with Josh. That's literally what Kaya did with him.
It's so funny because like previous to this year, I was like, oh yeah, like I kind of like, I really liked, Miro. I really, I really liked Miro. I thought that was sick. I liked them okay. This year, I don't know what happened. Maybe it was Kingdom. I don't know, but like, it was started before Kingdom. I was just like, yeah, I am feeling this. And now, like, listen, I even like their goddamn Christmas song. And like, I do not like Christmas songs, but like, just, Felix comes in with like Feliz Navidad. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, fuck that in, let's go.
That's so funny.
I can't.
For Natalia to admit that she likes a Christmas song is always a joy.
No, that's hard for me. That's hard for me. I don't even like Christmas that much.
It's okay. This is a safe space.
Fine. I just need to admit to myself that
you're a stay.
Stray Kids made a banger of a Christmas album, and I just need to admit that to myself. I'm like fine with admitting that I'm just, hardcore into Stray Kids now. Even I was like, like we're going to the K-pop store this weekend as like a little adventure, and I know they don't sell light sticks, but I'm like, well, maybe they'll have a Stray Kids light stick. Maybe I was like making a little list of like, what albums do I want to maybe look for, and it started with Stray Kids. It's like
I'm trying to remember, what does the Stray Kids one look like?
It's like sort of like a compassy sort of thing.
Oh yeah, they're
red
compassy.
and white. Yeah.
They're
stray kids everywhere, all
around the world. Yeah.
Right?
Dust guy.
It's pretty much ATEEZ's like boyfriend lifestyle, right?
Yeah, exactly. They've listen.
And then ONEUS is also like a part of that.
They eat lunch together. You know
yes,
what I mean?
yeah. Well, they do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I
they
did
do
want to
literally.
say,
they're bros. Like,
right.
Yeah.
I actually did want to mention about that. Like I've noticed even in the last few months, like with ATEEZ, they'll just be on, like for instance, Weekly Idol, and they'll mention like a friend. They'll be like, "Oh, who's your best friend these days?" or something outside of the group, and they'll hesitate.
Hello.
But my point was,
yeah,
they sadly hesitate. Like even now after all that Kingdom stuff and the way idols are always treated with things like this, it's really sad that there's any hesitation. But you're allowed to say who your best friend is from the boys.
Yeah.
You're allowed to say who you hang out with. My goodness.
It's sort of funny
Seriously.
because there's literally a clip. So it's from the Stray Kids in Kingdom did a B2B song, and Changbin, who's one of the rappers, was doing a lot of the singing because he's actually a really good singer. And so it then just cuts to like, people like they have like the cuts to people reacting, and it just cuts to Woosun being like, "That's my best friend." He's so good. It's so cute. It's just like, okay, I think we know who your best friend is. He's like, "That's my friend." And then it would cut to B2B, and they're like, "I thought he was a rapper. Oh, damn, he's good at everything." So cute.
And that's when Mnet is just like they gave up a long time ago.
They gave up trying to get these groups to like say mean things about each other. It was impossible.
I mean, this is kind of a serious thing, but something worth mentioning would be all the stuff that's happened in China.
Ugh.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's been some developments on that. Been some wild developments. So this all centered around basically China decided we hate effeminate men. They're an easy target, I guess. So there's even more censorship and stuff. But it all boiled down to this one actor who was in a bromance show, I say with air quotes, that is the most thinly veiled bromance you've ever seen in your life, where he basically got blacklisted because there was like 10-year-old pictures of him in Japan for a wedding, and there was a picture of him standing outside of like a Japanese war memorial, and they're like, well, clearly he hates China and is pro-Japan imperialism, and it's just like, no, it's not pathetic. So everyone was like, oh, the government is like canceling this guy. The development that came in, it wasn't the government at all. It's like deeper than this. There was like this sort of like entertainment like organization, sort of like the Academy sort of thing, that decided that they were going to like choose like which actors they thought were appropriate for like the image of China, and he didn't make the cut, so they like made it seem like they literally orchestrated this poor guy's downfall, but they've been all like exposed now. So there's been like a whole development. It's like a whole conspiracy. Like there's all these actors who have been like blacklisted by this like entertainment cabal that like works with like the censorship boards, and like it's been a thing. But effeminate men still enemy number one. So apparently China has decided that the biggest threat to the Chinese society is twinks, because
girls will only want them and they won't try for any other guy.
They won't want, like, listen, if they'll only want effeminate men, not these. I'm just like, you could just put more, like, I hate to use the term, but like manly men, like you could, because like, listen, this is all just, toxic patriarchy, like just bullshit, and we all know it. And like anyone looking at it is just like, oh, this is just toxic masculinity being played out by a government for, you know, because you hate women.
Or, I mean, a woman who speaks out about things, because there's the whole thing with the tennis player who got kind of disappeared, and now, you know, all the countries are saying that they're boycotting the Olympics by not sending people that nobody cares whether they're there anyway. So, like, okay, I guess. If I say I'm boycotting the grocery store, but I just like don't bring my kids with me when I go shopping, it's not really a boycott. Like, I'm just saying, nobody there cares that my kids aren't coming along.
I know that music competition shows are a really big thing as far as like, of course, in our fandom spaces, like some people will be, so groups that were created from those music competitions, you know, those groups have been disbanded. Those music competition shows no longer exist. I think they kind of been wiped in
They're
general.
not allowed doing them anymore.
I mean, with a bunch of them, there was that whole thing about the yogurt where people were like throwing away food
waste,
for, you know, votes.
And then limits on fandom club spaces, and then limits on gaming.
Video gaming.
Yeah, video games.
I was thinking that, you know, was watching Gank Your Heart, and it got to the very, you know, the end gets very Glory of China. We will, you know,
a classic.
It's very infomercial, like esports is a real thing. It's a real sport. And these kids aren't slackers. They're real, you know, and I was like, wow, 2019. How things have changed.
You did not see what was coming.
It's weird to think, like, over the course of 2 years, in a pandemic when people were stuck at home and couldn't do anything anyway, the Chinese government basically went from yay esports, this is the future, to don't let your kids play video games, it's the devil. And you're like, okay, I guess I should enjoy this drama while I have it, because I'm probably not getting any more of these for a little while. Although, I mean, give it a couple of years and
once they start to realize the impact of the financial impact is having, all the companies that own those games, they've started to like buy up all the Japanese titles and stuff.
To where we've even seen the Chinese drama platforms that are available internationally, like they're having to pivot. And
like
hard pivot.
Aichi, like they're really like getting into like every other country, like
Korean streaming and everything.
They're like, oh, I'm just gonna pick up all these.
and like and WE TV, which is owned by Tencent, they're like, oh, Thai, Filipino, and Japanese TV. Let's do this.
I guess.
Like, crybaby incels were a big part of this year.
Regrettably,
like every year, crybaby incels have to make our retrospective because they were pulling their bullshit again. They can't help it. Like, so there is, I forget her name. I'm sure someone remembers it. That's not me. An incredible South Korean archer just like took the world by storm.
Ansan?
Yes. However, she likes having short hair, wearing pants, and listening to Mamamoo, which were apparently the 3 biggest red flags to men who still live in their parents' basement.
It's so bizarre.
Archer wearing pants. Yes, that's how that works.
But like also it's like so stereotypically like female Korean too. Nothing she was doing I couldn't see out on the streets, in variety shows, in like TV shows. And, like it never was a pro.
It wasn't like a brush cut or something. Like it was just a bob. Like it was like
and you know what? I think it's fucking bold of these dudes to come for a woman who's the best in the world at a deadly weapon.
A deadly weapon that she can shoot from a long distance.
Like that, you never see it coming, my guy. Like, bold of you.
Meanwhile,
I feel like she handled it very well. Like
a lot of the celebrities like fell in love with her so fast, and they were like, we're gonna show so much support
internationally. So there was like no way that they could actually like break through because everybody was like, I'm in love with this person now. Yeah. Like, and we're all like, hey.
And so when that failed, the incels decided that they were gonna get mad at anyone who used the pinching fingers symbol. That was this year too.
That was this year too. It was. Wow.
You know what you used to denote if something is small, because they assumed anytime someone was using it, it was rightfully calling out how small their penises were because they had small dick energy.
How often do women actually discuss that? Never.
Literally
never.
We literally don't care.
Don't care.
It's not really on our radar at all.
Like, if you're like very unlikely, but if you're a dude listening to this who like worries about the size of your penis, don't. Women don't care. Like, if just get a dildo if you're that concerned.
I will care if it's gonna like make you go insane. I will gladly like help that out and make you just go insane.
Your personality. Like, it's, cool. It's not actually.
Like, listen. Small dick energy has nothing to do with the actual size of your penis. It's the size of your heart penis, guys. your penis vibe. Like,
I have a feeling that this one might have to be marked explicit if we keep talking about it.
Like, look, literally no one cares what size your junk is. No one. But no one. But
but also women do not walk around ever like discussing that amongst we don't.
No.
We don't.
It does not affect us. And you know why it doesn't affect us? Because these dudes upset with it aren't getting it because of their energy, okay?
And the thing to me that's the dumbest thing about it is that like that's not what they say, right? They don't say, oh, we're so against this because they're making fun of men or they're making right. It's because there is a South Korean feminist organization that uses those fingers as part of their symbol. So it's not, oh, you're making fun of us. It's, oh, you're feminists. Like, you support feminism because you put these fingers in your artwork or your picture or your commercial. You must be feminist.
And it's like, no, I'm just holding a pill. Like, I'm holding a small object.
A medication commercial and I'm holding a pill. Like, how am I supposed to do that?
It's like,
but also, feminist is not a bad word. It's not a bad word.
It's like, just, you believe in the equality of the sexes. That's not a crime, you fucking weirdos. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm done with men. Men are stupid and I don't respect them.
What was also really sad about that was how the corporations and things would then like apologize.
Would fold. They would fold like lawn chairs.
Fold, right?
It's, like it does nothing. It just like makes them feel like they can
emboldens
do it.
These dummies.
Yeah, and but it also emboldens really dangerous humans, and like I just don't understand why you as a company would want to do that,
and why spit in the face of women who are 50% of your clientele. Because I don't want to shop at your Starbucks anymore or your whatever because you were so afraid to be taken for a feminist.
Since they were emboldened, then they start going after the comedian ladies who did nothing wrong.
Like, literally, they tried to have Park Nare arrested for making a show me where they touched you joke on a doll. Arrested. Are you fucking kidding me? They even at one point were like going after 17 for like one of their dance moves. And I was like, guys, it's getting sad now. You're so sad now. It's sad. You're pathetic.
It's obnoxious. And it makes my head hurt.
Well, and then when you put that up against, you know, the rate of violence against women in South Korea, just like the very true sad statistics of the things that women who live there have to deal with. Scary.
Yeah.
Very scary.
It's nice to see that it does sometimes flip the other way as well, though. Like just this past week, a milk company released this commercial with all these like women in a field, like doing yoga and stuff. And there was this guy with a camera, like as a voyeur, like taking pictures of them. And then it was a commercial for milk. And like he drops his camera and when he looks back up or whatever, all the women are actually cows. Like it wasn't really women, they're all cows or something. Like
that's fucking gross.
Really weird. But
that's
like
gross.
But as soon as this commercial got released, there was outcry and outrage because people, like women were like, we have like the worst case in this country
of Mocha crimes.
Men of Mocha, right? Like of men taking pictures of women who don't want their pictures taken and using it and being creepy voyeurs. So like, this is not okay. And like the commercial got pulled like immediately, like it's gone. So, I mean, at least sometimes it works in the opposite direction too, which is good to see that it's not just getting laughed off and like, no, ha ha ha, like it was just funny and you're being too sensitive. It was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's gone. You're right. Obviously, no women work in this company. You know,
someone who still has a job, sadly, though.
Yeah.
Another thing that happened this year, I'm not going to be able to remember the title of that drama, but wasn't it the one that went poof, the historical drama?
Joseon Exorcist, the one that had the sickest first 2 episodes I've ever seen.
That would have probably been in contention with Happiness as like my favorite show of the year. Like I have no doubt. It was so good. Those first 2 episodes were so good. And then they took it from us.
It was filmed.
So to explain what that was it essentially kind of the small dick energy people that got upset about like historical inaccuracy, despite the fact it was obviously
exactly
not
that. It wasn't exactly that. When I because I've been reading a lot of stuff about Snowdrop right now, and so then there's a lot of parallels being made and stuff. And a Korean person whose stuff I was reading said it's not just historical inaccuracy in the sense of like, wow, they're not portraying the king properly or whatever. It has to do with how it reflects what's the current political state going on in Korea right now with regards to China, and that people took it to be propaganda, that some aspects of it
was a historical zombie movie, which like it was a historical zombie show.
I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying that having read some perspectives of some Korean people, that it wasn't just historical inaccuracy. There was more in the water that was, causing people to get riled up. So
it's fine. We still had happiness, Jesse. We still had
happiness. And we also, Natalia and I went hard on TikTok this year.
Oh, we did. We did.
I mainlined TikTok.
Make videos occasionally, but like that's all we do is just like TikTok, send each other.
I just fucking send TikToks all day, every day. I think I sent you like 6 today.
Yeah, no. And while I'm on too,
and half of them were like the ones we've already seen. Like our free pages identical.
But we still do it. We still, knowing that, we still give each other the same videos.
Just in case.
Just in case. Because if you don't, it's going to be, how come you didn't show me this? How did I miss it, right?
Or it's like, it's going to be that, like the one that we don't is going to be the one that didn't appear.
Yeah. It's true. You never know. You can't trust algorithms because they play games.
Yes.
I read a lot more this year again, which I used to read a lot, and then babies, and then dramas, and then but now this year I read a lot more books. I read a lot more Asian and Asian American authors and stuff, which was kind of cool. But I read a lot of I just read a lot more. So I think my Goodreads at the beginning of the year, they let you set up a challenge on Goodreads, and I was like, 15 books. It'll be pushing it, but like I think I can do it. That's like a little more than a book a month. I think I can make it. And my Goodreads is like over 50 for the year. So I'm like, whoo, I read good for me.
That's like one a week.
Yeah. No. A lot of them were audiobooks. I'm just putting that out there.
Counts.
I mean, if you played the audiobook and then left the room, it doesn't count. But like if you then
listen to the audiobook,
as long as you're listening to it,
which on the downside, my podcast listening took a little bit of a downturn because, you know, you only have so many ears. Like you can't, kind of like with dramas, you can't listen to everything. So you have to make choices, you know?
Mm-hmm. If you never sleep.
If you never sleep.
If you never sleep, are self-employed at home and don't really have a life outside of it, you might watch more dramas than others, but you still have to choose. Not calling anyone out or anything.
I got into Otama games more. I don't necessarily play them every day by any means, but I'll go through spurts of cranking through one.
Yeah,
there's some good stuff out there, man. Like one is named Color X Malice. It's good. It's very thriller crime stuff. It was very, very fascinating.
Otama games are fun.
Not all are created equal. Some are kind of not as good. So I try to avoid those. I'm very into reading reviews before I play one, so I don't waste my time.
Nice. Yeah.
I've gotten really into manhwa. Like I've been reading, especially in like the last couple of months, I've been reading like a lot of manhwa. Like and as with Otama games, some are better than others. Some take wild turns you were not expecting. But my favorite type, it's the Japanese term for this plot, I don't know what the Korean term is an isekai novel. And it's one where you like die in the real world and then wake up in like a fantasy world.
Yeah.
But you have like all of the fantasy world of like the last book you were reading.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Oh, it's fun as hell. It's fun as hell. And there's a genre of isekai for everyone. It's also a very popular plot for Chinese online novels, which I also read many of. So many.
Which again, the same applies. Not all created equal.
Yeah. And also not all translations are translated equal.
Oh man.
Some you have to like really work hard to figure out what's going on, you know.
Well, that one Korean book that I started reading, and I read the first one in like an audio book, actual official translation, and it was super good, really, really good. Solo leveling, it's a great story. We wanted to read the rest, so we go and find a translation on a like web novel. It's a older official translation site or whatever. And I mean, good job, translator. I'm very thankful that you have done the translating, but like some turns of phrases have been like, the people in this book swallow their dry saliva a lot, and it is not a phrase I have ever heard in my life. My 10-year-old now, I will like, I'm reading it out loud to him, and I'll get to line and I'll just pause and I'm like, swallow their saliva, and I'm like, I know. And so like I try to catch it if I'm paying attention, and I'll just said like swallow dryly, which kind of, like you had a dry mouth, you were up, like I get what they're going for, but like
well, then if you use it a lot, that's what makes it funny.
Yeah.
So like probably every other page somebody is swallowing their dry saliva, and I'm just
a lot of dry mouth in this universe.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah. So yes, all translations, not all translators, not equal, but still doing good work.
All translators are appreciated.
Very much so.
Yes.
And this year was a year where we still want Vicky to pay their stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yes, every year
your
at the end, like I think almost every other episode, we're like, please just pay your subtitlers, please.
Yeah, you're making like decided to do this rental of movies. You have a lot more like money. They cannot convince me they don't have enough money to hire.
They are literally killing their own service by doing this.
BT dubs, if you have been good with your rate of translation subtitling for a very popular show, do not biff that on the last episode.
Looking at you, happiness. Looking at you, happiness.
The worst wait of my entire life.
because it was like a real cliffhanger at the end of that episode 11. So I got to.
But I also don't really like watching just one and then not the other immediately. And so I held off on it. And then it just didn't show up. And finally I was like, fine, I'll watch it. Like that episode 11. And then 12 didn't happen for like another 8 hours or 10 hours or something like that.
I heard it was stuck at like 34% for the longest time.
But definitely, yeah, also translate a finale quicker.
Yeah. That should have been like a
That's
thing.
just logical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Across the board, no matter the genre, it would be an important thing to be able to see the finale.
Yeah.
The same speed as the rest of, you've been popping out translations pretty quick for the rest of the show. Okay. Just do similar for the last episode. That is all.
Yeah. No,
but at the same time, I can't even blame them. It's like, who knows? They might have been busy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because they're not.
It's like you can't blame them, like specifically the translators, but you can blame Vicky because it shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, they should be paying them, and then there should also be a policy. So between those two things.
Yeah.
We should probably end on like a happier note than that. So, because like we've been at this for a little while. So, who's got like a happy thing to end on?
I don't know. I've been making time for Asian horror. I mean, it hasn't been a happy year. So, like, that's about all I got for you.
Yeah.
I will say year. Yeah, it's been an awful year for me, especially at the beginning.
Yeah, same.
I will say at this point, I'm at least because like there was a good 6 months or more. It's not that I wasn't watching anything; I was watching a little bit of things, but now my interest and rate of watching things has improved. Maybe it's because it's winter, season. But I like getting back into it. But like some of my airing shows finished, and so I'm trying to see. Yeah. Do I want to do the airing show thing, or am I going to try to avoid? That's always the question, isn't it?
Okay, like it has been a really shitty year, but I would like to say as a personal victory for Natalia, personal victory is so I have this fanfic, this fic that I write. I'm not going to say the title here because I don't need to put myself on blast this way, but it's well read. Okay, let us say this. And in February, I stopped updating it, not because like I didn't want to write it anymore, but just the year had been shitty. And last week, I updated it twice. And I wrote 2 more chapters for it. And let me tell you, people were
excited.
The best thing for someone. They're like, oh my god.
Literally people were like, oh my god. They're like, I thought we'd never hear from you again. I was like, I came back. So I would like to, if you know the fic and you read it, I would like to apologize for the like 9 months of ghosting y'all. More like 10 months of ghosting y'all. I didn't mean it. It's been a year. Okay, it's been a year.
Let's be real, it's been a decade.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I would just like to say also, I was incredibly shocked and odd that I was updating our certified noon as my drama list, and on a whim, I decided, I'll click on Natalia's and see. And there were currently airing shows on there because she was updating her My Drama list.
I updated it.
Good job.
I just literally signed in, and the first comment on the fic was, "Yay, you're back!" Yes, I'm back. I'm sorry, everyone. So
everyone gives you mercy.
Exactly. Everyone understands.
Life is hard, but
almost every other fanfic writer is doing the exact same thing you just did. That's
and also
the most normal thing.
We've all found that beloved fic that we got really into, and then like you get to like the last chapter, and then you realize it hasn't been updated in like 9 years, and you're like, no,
it could be that.
Listen, I think they probably expected that to be the case, but I came back. Back, baby.
And we hope good things for 2022.
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't want to curse it though, so I'm not going to say it out loud.
That was the meme I saw today of like someone screaming, and it said, when you realize that 2022 is pronounced 2022. And you're like,
bullshit. Get out of here. We don't want it. We don't want it. No. Get that energy out of here. We don't need those vibes. Anyway, this has been like just a little fun chat that we've been having about
just a little one.
Little
teeny chat about, stuff that interested us over the past year.
Short call.
Just a short little phone call, as they say. Yeah. We hope you enjoyed listening to it. And if you want to tell us like stuff that you were really into, you can either tweet us, which is always @CertifiedNuna on Twitter, or you can go to our Discord where you can talk about it in much more detail with people who will want to 100% talk back, because our Discord is super fun and we have a good time over there and we talk about all sorts of stuff and it's a good time. So we hope that we see you there. And if you're wondering like, oh, I'd love to join your Discord, but where will I find the link to possibly go to join it? Well, all of our links to everything we talk about, as well as time codes, are on our website, certifiednunas.com, where we have, every single episode that you can also listen to on all of like the podcast streaming platforms. But if you want them sweet links, you got to go to certifiednunas.com. We're on all the social media. It's always @CertifiedNunas, no space, no underlines, nothing, just one word. And if you want to support this podcast, like so many wonderful people have done over the past year, you can go to patreon.com/CertifiedNunas to become part of the official Certified Fan family, where we just have a grand old time, man. And we love our supporters, our fan family, and they apparently love us enough to support us. So thank you so much. Thank you for all the support this year.
Yeah,
fam.
thank you.
Love you. Yay. Anyway, we hope you have a fantastic week. You stay safe. You wash your hands. You wear that mask, because I'm looking at the numbers. Some of y'all aren't. Okay, maybe not you specifically, but anyway, and we hope you stay safe and keep enjoying Asian entertainment. Bye.
Bye.